Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Deans, and this is Evolutionary Psychiatry on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about magnesium. All right, so let's talk magnesium. It's a vital mineral that we would get from swimming in the ocean, from drinking mineral waters, that we would get from seafood, organ meats. You also get a lot of it from plants. Modern Americans and Western Europeans on a Western diet tend to get about 250 milligrams a day. The RDA is anywhere from 320 to 450 milligrams a day, depending on if you're a man or a woman or pregnant or a child or whatever. So most of us are getting a little less than we need almost every single day. But the problem is you can't really do a blood test to determine your magnesium level. Most of our magnesium is stored inside our cells or in our bones. And magnesium levels in the blood are kept to a very tight level because it affects cardiac conduction. If it drops too low or it goes too high, you can have an arrhythmia and drop dead. But we do waste magnesium during chronic stress and in intense stress. Doctors all know this because the first thing that you do in the cardiac ICU or if someone's admitted is get a serum magnesium level. And most people, you're having to pump tons of magnesium via IV if they're under a lot of stress, if they're very physically ill, in order to keep those magnesium levels from dropping so low that people do have heart attacks. So we want to prevent that, keep the magnesium level steady. But that's an object lesson in that one of the things that we kind of waste and use up when we're super stressed is magnesium. So what does magnesium do in the body? It's involved in a lot of cell transport activities. It's involved in energy production. It's involved in muscle contraction. Some of the first signs of magnesium deficiency are fatigue, muscle cramps, those kinds of things. In the brain, magnesium has an especially interesting role in suppressing excitotoxicity. Excitotoxicity is the process by which if too many calcium or sodium positively charged ions kind of flowing through the membranes of the neurons, it's like the gas pedal stuck on and you can't turn it off. Magnesium acts as a brake. It can sit in what's called the NMDA receptor, which is the receptor for the major excitatory neurotransmitter in the body called glutamate. And it can sit there and kind of regulate it, moderate it, turn it off. Magnesium is your rate limiter. So if you are low in the brain, you can have a higher risk of excitotoxicity. Actually, one other use of magnesium is in the OB department. If people have preeclampsia, there's risk for super high blood pressure and seizures. They give huge doses of magnesium to help prevent those complications. Another way in which magnesium is super important to depression, anxiety, and mental health is that it acts as a check on almost every part of the activation of what's called the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. And this is the axis of hormones and stress response that gets engaged when you're under stress. So you activate the HPA axis, you pour out cortisol and adrenaline, and you respond to a stressful situation. Magnesium can check this along the way. It can act on receptors on the adrenal glands, it can act on receptors in the blood-brain barrier and in the brain to sort of slow down the HPA axis and turn the stress response off. So there aren't that many controlled trials for the use of magnesium for anxiety and depression, but those that have been done were positive. Unfortunately, they were mostly done with magnesium oxide, which is not very bioavailable. It really takes a couple months for you to get a lot of magnesium oxide in the body. There are several other varieties of magnesium that I would recommend for people. One is magnesium citrate. If you tend to be on the constipated side, this would probably be the choice for you. It's well absorbed. Usually people take between 200 to 400 milligrams a day. You want to titrate it carefully. If you are taking too much, you will get diarrhea. If you are sensitive to diarrhea, magnesium glycinate is another good option, or magnesium malate. All of these are available online. So if you have normal kidney function, you don't have any intestinal blockages, it's very safe to take levels of magnesium, between 200 and 400 or 500 milligrams a day as a supplement. If you find, again, that you're having diarrhea and you can't even tolerate the glycinate versions, there are some studies to show that magnesium can be absorbed through your sweat glands. And so I've had patients with restless legs at night or cramps at night who put magnesium oil that you can also buy online on their legs. You put it on for about 20-30 minutes, then wash it off. You can also soak in an Epsom salt bath. So good sources again of magnesium: seafood, green leafy vegetables, nuts, particularly Brazil nuts, cashews, and almonds. Dark chocolate is another good source of magnesium. With some self-disclosure, magnesium is the only supplement that I take on a very regular basis. I found that it really helps with sleep and not to have some of those restless legs. I know some people get benefits for premenstrual headaches, and about a third of people with restless leg syndrome, magnesium can possibly help them. So it's worth a try, again, as long as that kidney functions normal. If you have any comments or questions about magnesium, please drop me a comment and I'll try to address it in future videos. In the meantime, if you do like the content, please like, share, subscribe. I'm Dr. Emily Deans, and this is Evolutionary Psychiatry on YouTube.